Hello everybody, my name is Verda. Today we're going to be benchmarking GTA 5. For the full specifications of the PC, look in the description. Without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Alright, and to get us started, we're going to be playing at 1080p with the high settings, as you can see here. We're leaving MSAA turned off for now. We'll test turning that on later on. But yeah, we're using all the high settings here, as you can see. And those are my settings. So yeah, also advanced settings are going to be turned off throughout the entire benchmark. There's really no reason to use these with such a low-end card. So with that, let's get started. All right, which psychopath should we call today? I think we'll start with Trevor. Sounds like a good psychopath to start with. Oh, already crashed the car. Off to a good start here. All right, I've never seen him up here actually. Let's go and pick him up. But as you probably already noticed straight away, we are CPU bound here. But don't worry, that will change as I increase the settings further on into the video. Come on, Trevor, we've got some people to kill. Nice. Right, all these people are clearly walking on the wrong part of the path. Clearly, we gotta run them all over, guys. Nice. Ooh, oh. Hello. Hi, guys. Oh, that feels bad. Ooh, see ya. Boop. Oh man, I just can't resist. This is like one of my favorite things to do in GTA 5. Does that make me a complete psychopath? Maybe. It's pretty fun just to run people over on the sidewalk, you know? As you would call it in America. We just call it a path here in England. Oh, I love it. Also, anybody on a motorbike, they gotta go. Come here, you. Any motorbike people in the... Oh my god. We just got betrayed. Come here. But yeah, as you can see here in GTA 5 at 1080p with these settings, very much CPU bound at around 80 FPS. Oh, we got him. Oh my god, he got me as well. Jesus. Anyways, yeah, GPU bound, or CPU bound rather, at around 80 FPS here in GTA 5, which, by the way, is more than playable for GTA 5. I know there's certain Twitch streamers who play like GTA role-playing. GTA roleplay is way more intensive, of course, but in terms of for your PC, but there are role players who actually play GTA 5 on Twitch, streaming roleplay at around 40 FPS. Some of them, like, I'm not kidding, some of them have their FPS counters up and they're playing the game at around 40 frames. And so it just goes to show that even people who play this game all the time can play at around 40 FPS. Like, you really don't need much FPS for GTA 5 to be a fun experience for sure. We are in a cemetery. Very disrespectful to be driving on people's graves. We'll go ahead and we'll head over to like the most intensive areas, which is the mountains. The bushes and the grass and stuff, they're really intensive right here. Nice. We'll go up here. And look, the GPU usage maxes out when we get here pretty much. And surprisingly, we get more FPS from the CPU. Oh, you know what it will be? It'll be the fact that there's pretty much no people rendering here, right? There's no population really at this point, whereas the city is completely filled with cars and people, so probably explains why we're getting higher FPS for sure. But anytime we come back to the city where there's a lot of vehicles and people, the CPU does start to struggle a little bit, and it is definitely the bottleneck here. So I think that's going to do it for 1080p. We're CPU bound with this CPU, but yeah, it's still more than playable at 80 FPS, no doubt about that. I know some people might not be happy about the fact that I am CPU bound at the moment, but also I think it's important to note that a lot of people that have this kind of GPU probably have a budget end CPU as well. So it's somewhat realistic to the kind of performance you'll probably expect to see with a budget end CPU, even if it's a modern one. And I find that the 1650 and this i7 usually pairs pretty well in most games. They usually bottleneck each other at around the same FPS, but obviously here in GTA, it's a lot more CPU intensive than it is GPU intensive. So let's try out the next setting, shall we? All right, so we're still in the high settings at 1080p, but we're still at 1080p using the high settings, but we're now using MSAA ×2, and we'll see if we end up GPU bound here. I don't think we will end up GPU bound. We've still got the advanced graphics turned off, but let's give it a try, shall we? Let's call in the other psychopath. Oh, it's actually behind us. It's the other way. My god. I've already crashed the car about 5 times. I can't drive in this game, guys. Don't worry about it. Not a bad drift. Not a bad drift. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best in the comments. How good was that drift? Come on, Michael. Get in the car. Oh, yeah. We need to get the police so we can shut Michael up. because he'll tell me his whole life story if I don't shut him up. Michael, shut up. Michael, just start telling me how bad I am at driving and, like, you know, how fucking dumb I am and stuff. Come on, Michael. Oh, Jesus. Sorry about that, Margaret. All right, we got the Popo level 2. Oh, there's a guy on a bike there trying to get away. We can't let that happen. Look at him. No. Come on, we gotta get him. Which way did he go? That way. He's right there, look. Dun 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 dun. Oh, there's so many people. Yes. Ooh, how does that feel? Does that feel good? That must have felt really good. Hello, guys. Oh, man, you love to see it, don't you? You love to see him getting run over in GTA 5. Am I a complete psychopath? Maybe. Undiagnosed psychopath here? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. How did we not fly out of the car there? We're GPU bound here. We are getting close to the mountain, though, and there's a lot of bushes and trees and stuff here, so that's probably to do with it as well. Let's try and actually get up into the mountains. Let's go. Oh. Yeah, we're GPU bound here this time at around 80 FPS. Nice. This is nice to see. Good FPS. 80 frames right now. It's really good. 100 FPS. Anything above like 40 FPS in my opinion is fine for GTA 5. Obviously it's personal preference. Some people might say I need 60 or I need 75 minimum, but honestly I think most of us will be fine at around 40 plus FPS for GTA 5. It still feels really pleasant to play this game at such low FPS in all honesty. And it's just simply because it's a slower paced game. Like you don't need really high FPS. Maybe when you're actually like shooting and stuff you need more FPS, but when you're driving around you can definitely get away with around 40-45 FPS. And as you can see in the city here, depending on where we are, we're sometimes GPU bound, sometimes we're CPU bound at around 70, 80, 90 FPS sometimes. So the game is still completely fine with 2 times MSAA. So let's send up to 4 times, shall we? All right, so we're still at high settings using MSAA 4 times now. Advanced graphics are still turned off. Let's see the performance. We should be GPU bound all the time, I think now. Gonna drive over your car while I call Trevor. What the hell was that, man? Alrighty, we got Trevor. Nice. Let's get our friends the Popo in here. Apparently killing 2 people, or like 3 or 4 people with a gun is just completely fine. We only get 1 star for that. Okay. Hey, come here, you. Driving like a maniac. You could injure somebody. Or worse, you could kill someone. Like this. Oh man, it's taking me a long time to kill this guy, eh? There we go. We're still completely fine to play like this. So yeah, we'll head over to the mountains and we'll see how much FPS we get with these settings. We're definitely going to get a lot less, no doubt about that. Oh god. Let's head up to the mountains and see what our FPS is. Oof. 40s. Oh god. Still fine, but if it drops any lower than 40, it won't feel too good, I don't think. Oh god. We're fine, guys. This car is armored, like maxed out armor, so I can afford to trash it around a little bit and not instantly blow up. That's why I use this car so much, by the way. Plus, it gives us a good example as to the reflection quality and stuff on the car. We're completely GPU bound here, which you were expecting, right? Like, we were all expecting this. But still 60s, 70s. 1% low 40. Not terrible for this area. We're not going to try any higher MSAA than this because it's just not worth it, in all honesty. And even at 4 times, you're better off just increasing the graphics to very high on a lot of them. And just getting better graphics than MSAA 4 times, in my opinion. Right, let's try 1440p, shall we? Because that should be interesting here. Come here, Susan. Alright guys, so now we're going to benchmark 1440p using the high settings, no MSAA at this moment. And there we go, those are the settings. And also, advanced graphics are turned off, of course. I need a psychopath other than myself, so I feel less of a psychopath. Trevor, wait. Did I cut him off too early? Oh man, what the hell? Trevor? Where is he? I can't pick Trevor up, guys. It won't let me pick him up, he's not showing on the map. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to resort to Michael. Michael's not working either. I can't pick them up. Oh man, well, I guess we'll have to do this without Michael or Trevor. Can't pick them up. We'll be the only psychopath in the car this time. We're still, for the most part, CPU bound. But if I stop driving around, we do end up being GPU bound here. Like, I'll show you an example. Oh man, that guy's going to the moon. you can see I end up GPU bound at around 80 FPS, but as soon as I start driving, getting the CPU to pop in, you know, more civilians and more vehicles further away and stuff, you can see that, oh god, that the GPU ends up actually being underutilized. I just noticed, by the way, at high settings, the faraway buildings, they do pop in their textures. Oh my god, I didn't see that. They do pop in their textures a little bit. The skyscrapers. Yeah, you see how they're like not really that high definition over there? If I start driving over, if I can actually drive, I'm looking at the buildings, but as you can see, the buildings don't look too good until you get a little bit closer to them. Yeah, the buildings definitely don't look as good here at 1440p high, but that's me nitpicking in all honesty. But the game definitely looks a hell of a lot better at 1440p compared to 1080p. Man, we got him. That was worth it. Oh, he's not dead. There we go. Now he is. A true psychopath at work. Oh my god. Hello. Woo! That guy's not dead. Oh wait. Definitely dead now. Let's head over to the mountains and see what it's like over there. We're definitely going to drop down into the 50s, I would say, at least. At least minimum, we're dropping into the 50s here. If not mid 45s. It's really crazy how intensive the grass is, honestly, and the bushes. It is nice to see that GTA is actually completely playable at 1440p with a 1650. I know the 1650 came out a couple of years after GTA did on PC, but it's still a budget end card, right? My FPS is not dropping that much here. Not as much as I thought it was going to be dropping. Oh, hey, here we go. We're in the high 50s, 60s. It's actually fine. I was expecting this to be a lot worse. It's definitely a lot worse if you've got more grass. Like if you set your grass to be higher density, you do see a significant loss in performance. But here on high grass, it's completely fine actually. I'm pleasantly surprised. This is good. This is not bad at all. This is actually quite good. We are really pushing this CPU, however, but it's still an old CPU, so it's quite impressive that it's able to push this many frames, even if we are using nearly all of the CPU. Like realistically, even though it's at, you know, 50-60%, we are pushing the CPU usage quite high here in GTA. Let's try a higher preset, shall we? All right, so now we're playing still at high settings, but we're using MSAA ×2. Still got the advanced graphics turned off. Let's try it out, guys. This is the first time I've not actually gone ahead and reloaded my save. We're still up in the mountains here, so we can see our really low FPS straight away. And as you can see, with the MSAA turned on to 2 times, we are dropping into the 40s, like low. We actually just dropped to 30s with the MSAA on 2 times here, but it's just going to be for up in the mountains it's this bad because we're really pushing it. You know, this is the most intensive area for sure, up in the mountains, anywhere where there's bushes and a lot of grass. So let's try and get out of here and get back to the city, and we'll see what our FPS is like. Oh Jesus, another one. Well, I guess I'm reloading the save after all. Nah, it's okay. We'll continue. We'll just grab a. Oh, cheeky punch, cheeky punch. Let me just grab this car. Come here, love. Give me this car, please. You didn't hear that, guys. Nope, it was totally not a scandalous something song from the early 2000s. But yeah, here in the city, seeing high 50s, low 60s with these settings, still fine for the city. Oh, I do apologize about that, but I apologize for this even more. Wait, the passenger died, but the driver didn't? We have to fix this. That can't stand. There we go. Look at this woman trying to get away. Nearly. You're welcome. All right, I'm a psychopath. Role-playing, obviously. Role-playing a psychopath. Give me this car. Come here. But you can't just be driving around in a car like this and not expect to get shot. Oh, I'm really gonna... Oh, they drive like me. It looks like I'm gonna catch them. There we go. Guys, you really should have got out of your cars earlier, guys. Just gonna rent this car from this woman. All right, see you later, see you later. Oh, it's got a busted wheel. Oh my God, it's got more than a busted wheel. Jesus. Guys, please don't. I've just come out of hospital. Don't send me there again. That car looks like free real estate, if you ask me. I'm definitely dead, guys. Oh my God. I'm not dead. But yeah, here at 1440p with MSAA ×2, I just lost my freaking tire. Roughly 60 FPS in the city, 55 FPS. But if you're out in the bushes, It's not so good. Oh god. Just for the fun of it, guys, I thought we'd try out 4K here on the high settings to see if it's possible. Now, nobody's playing GTA 5 with a 1650 at 4K. There's no doubt about it, but I just thought we'd try it out here for a bit of fun. So we're at 4K. MSAA is turned off. We're not obviously going to be using that at all here. We have everything else set to high, just like before. Of course, advanced graphics are disabled right now, as you can see, because we're not going to enable that for 4K. So let's go ahead and try it out. 40 FPS, actually, 37. It's not that bad, considering we're at 4K resolution. It's actually quite amazing. Let me go ahead and head over to the mountains and just see how awful this is. It doesn't feel very good right now, guys. Like, being at 35 FPS doesn't feel amazing. And I know it's going to drop down to probably 30, maybe even 25 FPS. It is so stuttery, it's so hard in terms of, like, I'm not used to this FPS. Oh, 25 frames, spot on with the estimate. Oh my god. The old generation console experience, everybody. I can't believe we used to play like this. But I guess your eyes just kind of adjust to however you're used to the game, like, looking. If that makes sense. Yeah, your eyes kind of adjust to whatever you start playing at, and it becomes the new normal, right? For example, when I swapped from 1080p to 1440p gaming, it looked amazing at first, and now it just looks like old 1080p, if that makes sense. Like, my eyes have adjusted, so it's like my normal. So now when I go and I switch to 1080p, it looks really blurry, and it looks really low quality, as similar to as if, you know, if you play at 1080p and you switch it down to 1600 by 900, you can see the quality is just a little bit worse. Here at 4K with high settings, yeah, you're clearly not going to be playing GTA 5 like this. It's not great, but I didn't expect it to be. All right. I know I said I wasn't going to test out the lowest settings at 4K because there was no point, but I'm kind of curious as to how the game looks at lowest settings. I've not seen it in a very long time at low settings, so here we are. 4K, everything is turned off. For some reason, the menus in GTA 5 get really laggy sometimes, and no exception here. Everything is turned off or at the lowest that it can be, as you can see. Of course, we've got advanced graphics turned off. It's super laggy in the menu for some reason, but yeah, here we go. Let's see what it's like, guys. And my once very reflective car is now looking pretty god-awful. Oh man, it does not look very good. Yeah, this is GTA lowest settings, but we are at 4K resolution. We are at 4K, so there is that. We are able to play at 4K lowest settings, which I expected we would be able to, for sure. Like, some of it looks okay, but then a lot of it kind of reminds me of not Saints Row. What's it called? GTA San Andreas, you know? Like, the textures being a bit blocky and very, very low res. Honestly, it's not... Oh god. If you wanted to play with low settings, you totally could. I don't think you'd play at 4K like this, but, you know, if you were on a really budget-end GPU that just could not play GTA at very high settings, you can probably play like this. It's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, here at 4K, there's no reason to play like this, obviously. 60 to 70 FPS on average. Oh my god! Oh! Oh, I'm getting a good look at those low-resolution grass textures. Oh, my car almost looks blue. It's literally silver. It looks blue, though, because it's trying to reflect the sky, I think. But since the reflections are so low-res or just, like, non-existent, it's just making my car blue. I don't know. That's my explanation. I don't know, though. I'm not expecting us going up in the mountains to be very intensive, actually, because the grass is non-existent, as you can see. And it's the grass that mostly takes the performance away when you come up in the mountains. The bushes too, but yeah, the grass especially. We do lose some frames still. And we drop down to the 40s. Most of the time, 60 FPS. Yeah, this is a pointless test, of course. Let's get to the next preset, shall we? Jeez. We're going to be playing at 1080p using DirectX 11. We're playing with FXAA turned on. We're going to leave MSAA off for now. Maybe we'll turn it on later for some extra testing. Got the population, density, variety, distance scaling all maxed out. Everything else is on the highest settings that they can go to here, other than motion blur, of course. Also, advanced graphics, we got nothing turned on here. We're going to leave this off all the time. Let's get started, shall we? Let's get Trevor in here. Let's get Trevor. Let's get up to some mischief here while we benchmark, shall we? Oh, I've got to wait for Trevor here, but the problem is Trevor never turns up. Oh, he's actually turned up. Oh my god, he normally never turns up. Come on, Asmund, let's go. All right. Nice. Now let's get the police on us. Yes, because there's no better way to benchmark than having a lot of police on us, right? Which is more than playable here. Oh, here come the po-po. In the city here, when we're just driving around and stuff, we're getting around 70 FPS on average at the moment, which is more than playable here for GTA 5. Which is quite nice to see, considering we're using pretty much the max settings, other than, you know, the advanced settings, and also the MSAA, which, you know, we'll try out later, I think, considering we're getting 70 FPS here. Let's try and head to a more intensive area, shall we? And GTA 5 uses around 10 gigs of RAM, it seems, which will probably increase the longer we play here. Oh, the police are losing us. We can't be having that. Hey. Is he dead? Not yet. There he is. Nice. That's what we like to see around these parts. Don't demonetize me. It's just a game, please. It's just a game. And our 1% lows are not awful either. They're at about 50. But let's try and change that. The grass is the most intensive thing in this game, by the way. The grass is just... It just absolutely destroys your FPS when you come to any kind of mountain. Oh my god. There's a dog. Guys, should I do it? I'm just kidding, but we'll get the honor. Ah! Oh. It wasn't me, I swear. Trevor took over. Trevor's driving, I swear. It's not me. This CPU can get around... I think it's around 80 to 100 FPS, roughly, in GTA 5, depending on the situation, right? Depending on where you are. If you can get one of these CPUs really cheap, it might still be worth it if you only play these kinds of games, right? The problem with the older CPUs is a lot of them are really struggling now with Unreal Engine 5. You know, that is a really demanding engine. A lot of games that are out on that, even for modern CPUs, are basically at 40 to 60%, like really good CPUs, sometimes 70% usage. Like, it's insane. I've heard a lot of people mentioning in my videos in the comments that they're really struggling with performance with better or higher end GPUs, but the simple fact is their CPUs just can't keep up in these games. Oh, I guess we'll just drive up here. See, when we come to like a mountain area with a lot of bushes and a lot of grass, you see our FPS drops down to the 40s. Which, by the way, still feels okay because it is GTA 5. It's a slower paced game. You don't need as much FPS, especially if it's in a mountain. I think you're going to be okay with around 40 FPS because how often are you going to be here realistically? But it is nice to show you like worst case scenarios, right? Like, this is the worst case scenario, is around 45 FPS with this GPU here. 1% lows are just below 40, but yeah, it still feels okay. Do note that if you do play GTA 5 online, you are probably going to see less performance with a CPU like this, because online is basically really CPU intensive, and I'm not going to test it today because it varies massively depending on lobby to lobby, and yeah, it's just not worth my time to benchmark it, because at the end of the day, it's not an accurate benchmark, since it's literally just going to be a benchmark from my lobby only. Using these settings here at 1080p, we're getting around 70, 65 FPS in the city, and then worst case scenario about 40, 45 FPS when you're up in the mountains, which you won't be doing a whole lot of. But yeah, you can see the CPU usage right now creeping up to the 70s, but that's totally fine. We are actually somewhat CPU bound at certain areas here, as you can see, but the game looks gorgeous. All the reflections on this kind of a vehicle and all the cars and stuff, it just looks so good. Let's try out some more intensive settings, shall we? Alright, so now we're still using the exact same settings as the previous test, but we're using MSAA right now at 2 times, which will impact performance quite a bit. We'll see what kind of FPS we can expect here. Let's go ahead and call in Trevor. Keep forgetting how to use the phone. You know what? We shall call Michael this time. Oh, sorry about that. Whoops. Man, the game looks gorgeous though. Even at 1080p, this game looks really, really good. Yeah, I would have died for this FPS when I actually played through this game. I played this game years ago, like the story modes, on a i7-4690. I was very much CPU bound when I played this game, for sure. Oh god. We're around 55 FPS in the city. You know, we've lost maybe 15, 20 FPS on average. Oh god. Oh god. Oh Jesus. My driving is
Happy ending.
it's not where it is. Whoa. Come here, you. Sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that too. Uh-oh, looks like someone's walking on the sidewalk. Oh god. Maybe you should have been walking on the road. Hello. I'm just living Bill Burr's best life. I'm not a maniac, I'm Bill Burr. I'm a comedian. Is it because I'm ginger? Just kidding, I'm now bald. Oh god. Come here, you. You thought you could get away. Hey, would you like some bullets? Would you like some I'm giving away free bullets. Man, I am so generous. So we've lost about 10-15 FPS, roughly, on average, you know, depending on where we are. And for me personally, I don't really care to have it on. I know some people notice it quite substantially, but for me, see you later, Deborah, she's definitely dead. But for me, it's not a setting that I really ever cared about, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not really too fussed about having it turned on, but let's see worst case scenario in the mountains. I'm not expecting this to be good here. I'm expecting us to maybe drop down to the mid-30s. I'm not expecting our performance to be very good in the mountains. Oh yeah. Mid-30s. Oof. Yeah, mid-30s is a little bit rough. Oh jeez. What is that, a mountain lion? I forgot about the sound effect of losing the police because I never usually do. I usually trigger them until they kill me eventually. Yeah, in the mountains, we got around 35 FPS. So not too much of a drop from the previous settings. So yeah, the takeaway from this is the game is completely fine. Yes, when you go to the mountains, you do lose a lot of FPS, or when you're near a lot of trees and bushes and stuff and grass particularly, you will lose some frames. But when you're in the main city, you do get around 60 FPS, like right now, look. Alright, so now we're going to try out 1440p using the ultra settings. We've got MSAA turned off for this one. There's no way we're going to be using MSAA at 1440p with the ultra settings, no doubt about it. So let's get started. We have advanced graphics turned off as well. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Well, I was talking, but then I realized that I had GTA 5's radio turned on, which is all copyrighted music. So yeah! Can't include all of that. We're gonna go pick Trevor up. Alrighty, we got Trevor. Nice. One thing I will say is playing at 1440p compared to 1080p is such a big graphical difference. It is nuts. If you're still playing at 1080p, I would heavily advise you to try and play at 1440p, like, as your next upgrade. It makes a huge difference. And if you've never seen or played at 1440p, go to a local PC shop or, you know, internet cafe shop or whatever that has 1440p monitors and stuff, and just see if you can play on one for a little bit, because it is a huge upgrade from 1080p, let me tell you that right now. It took me many years to play at 1440p. I actually didn't start playing 1440p until last year. Yep, I only upgraded last year to 1440p. I just didn't think it was that big of an issue, but it really, well, not an issue, but a big of an upgrade, but it really is. It's a huge upgrade, guys. So do it if you can. But anyways, here at 1440p, pretty much ultra settings, we're getting around 40-45 FPS on average in the city, which I know some of you may think is not very good, but in all honesty, right now, for GTA 5, this feels pretty playable. I am driving, so there is that. Maybe if I was out and I was aiming my gun and shooting all over, right, maybe then it wouldn't be as smooth, but when you're in a car like this, 40-45 FPS, it's almost indistinguishable from 60 frames. And I'm not even exaggerating, like, it's pretty hard to tell here. It basically just feels smoother. Like, your input feels a bit smoother. You can definitely notice that it's not as responsive, but it not in a bad way. It just feels a bit more cinematic. It sounds really stupid, but it doesn't feel bad, guys. It just feels different, you know what I mean? It's a different experience, but it doesn't feel terrible. And yeah, we just creeped over 10 gigs of RAM usage. Oh god. Well, she deserved it. She was probably drinking a latte from Starbucks that was overpriced. Come on, guys, she deserved that. Let's be honest now. We're gonna head over to the really intensive mountain area. Oh, beautiful. But yeah, the game looks so good. It looks so good compared to 1080. It's nuts. It's night and day difference. Ugh. I actually got a stutter there. The first FPS drop so far throughout this entire benchmark on all of the presets, by the way, like all the settings. Oh, this is a little rough. This is rough. Yeah, 28 FPS there. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely not, it's not pleasant here. How often are you going to be up in the mountains, in bushes, you know, like doing that? I don't know, man. But everywhere else feels pretty good. Even though we're at 36 FPS here, it definitely feels a lot worse. You can definitely notice it, but it doesn't feel unplayable. And it's not like you have to play with these settings either. These are really high settings, guys. Averages of around 40 FPS. You go up into the mountains with a bunch of bushes, you are going to see sub 30 FPS sometimes, which is not ideal. That is for sure. Oh my god, did you really just do that? And that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found any use out of it, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now, guys.